You should have seen it. He beat that kid like he didn't even have a conscience. It was bad. Beyond painful, it was sad. Girls stared, standing around the nightclub, screaming at the top of their lungs. The police arrived, but they didn't even get there in time to break up the fight. Knocks, tussles, thumps to the ground. Get off of me, Ulysses cried, blood gushing from his nose. He could feel the crowd watch him as he attempted to wrestle himself loose. But before the fight started, upstairs in the bar hall, the altercation began. Everyone was bumping one another, shoulders touching. Ulysses was making his way to the restroom across the dance floor. Excuse me, excuse me, he shouted, politely squeezing himself through. That's when he realized this wasn't going to be easy. The floor was too packed. He raised his hands up in the air so he wouldn't knock anyone else over. Flickering lights blinked like camera flashes. Loud music thumping in everyone's ear. All of a sudden, one of the kids in the crowd approached him. Like an act out of complete deliverance, the kid stood directly in Ulysses' way. He tried dodging the kid. Excuse me, he said. Excuse me. Again he cried, but the kid didn't move. Instead, he just snarled up and spat right in Ulysses' face. Now, normally, you would let a situation like this slide, but not this time. I mean, really, he actually has got someone else's body fluids on him, dripping from the top of his forehead onto his nose and mouth. Now, this wasn't like a kiss from a girl. No, or some intimate form of affection from the opposite sex, but some other dude, a stranger at that, just spat right on him. Immediately, he looked over around at the bouncer sitting on the speaker and stared at him as if to say, look at what just happened over here. Move him. Get him out of the way. Ulysses screamed, but the bouncer didn't listen. He just looked around through the crowd to see if he'd recognize anyone else. Ulysses didn't. It wasn't long till you lift his arms up in the air as if he were about to slug that kid right in the chin. Quickly, he felt his body rise up and see the kid who spat on him fly up in the air as well. Apparently, two bouncers splitting them up attempt to stop what was about to be a fight. Funny, the same bouncer who held you back was the same one who was sitting on the speaker. They rustled them both out into the next room. The two tussled on the ground for at least about a minute and a half or so. Take it outside, the small crowd shouted. But after about an hour had passed, the crowd began to pour out into the parking lot. Not thinking much of it, when that same kid ran up to him saying, What now? the kid screamed. Ulysses almost didn't know what to say. Leave me alone, shouting out at the kid and thinking, what the hell does he want with me? But before you could say a word, it happened. The fight started. They tussled each other to the ground. Get off of me, Ulysses cried. Get off of me. The crowd in the background shouted, stop fighting, stop, stop. Police arrived with an ambulance behind them. You could hear the crowd chant words in the background. Ooh, look at him, look at that kid, he just got chunked.